Chapter 4, Lesson 2, Multiply Fractions and Whole Numbers. You will be able to multiply fractions and whole numbers. Write the whole number as a fraction over 1, multiply the numerators, and multiply the denominators. And of course, remember to always reduce or change back into a mixed number. So for letter A, we're going to put 2 over 1 and multiply it by 2/5. Multiply your numerators. 2 times 2 is 4. And your denominators. 1 times 5 is 5. This cannot be reduced, so 4/5 is your product. Letter B. 6 over 1 times 2 over 3. Numerators, 6 times 2 is 12 over. Denominators, 1 times 3 is 3. And this actually divides out evenly, so I can just say 12 divided by 3, which is 4. Letter C. 9 over 1 times 1 over 3. 9 times 1 is 9. 1 times 3 is 3. And 9 divided by 3 works out evenly. It is 3. Letter D. 4 over 1 times 1 over 8. 4 times 1 is 4. 1 times 8 is 8. I can definitely reduce this one by dividing numerator and denominator by 4 and getting an equivalent fraction of 1/2. Three-fifths times 4 over 1. 3 times 4 is 12. 5 times 1 is 5. Now this does not work out evenly, so let's change this into a mixed number. So 5 goes into 12 twice, with 2 left over. Denominator remaining 5, so 2 2/5. Letter F. 1/4 times 5 over 1. 1 times 5 is 5. 4 times 1 is 4. Again, 4 does not go into 5 evenly, so change it to a mixed number. 4 goes into 5 once, with 1 remainder. 4 being our denominator, so 1 1/4. Letter G. 1/2 times 3 over 1. 1 times 3 is 3, and 2 times 1 is 2. 3 over 2 as a mixed number is 1 and 1/2. Letter H. 2/5 times 4 over 1. 2 times 4 is 8 over. 5 times 1 is 5. 5 goes into 8 once, with 3 left over. Keep your denominator. Your product is 1 3/5. A sloth spends 4/5 of its life asleep. If a sloth lives to be 28 years old, how many years does it spend asleep? So we take our 4/5 and multiply it by the 28 years, of course putting 28 over 1. 28 times 4 I'll do off to the side. 4 times 8 is 32. 4 times 2 is 8, plus 3 is 11. So this is 112. And 5 times 1 for your denominator is 5. To change this into a mixed number, this one I can't do in my head, so let's do the long division. 5 goes into 11 twice, which is 10. Subtracting it 1, bring down the 2. 5 goes into 12 also twice. Subtract 10, get a remainder 2. So as a mixed number, it would be 22 and 2/5. And this would be years. So out of its 28 years of being alive, it sleeps 22 and 2/5 years. A cat, on the other hand, spends 2/3 of its life asleep. If a cat lives to be 15 years old, how many years did it spend asleep? So let's take our 2/3 and multiply by the 15 years, of course putting 15 over 1. 2 times 15 is 30, and 3 times 1 is 3. Fractions are division, so 30 divided by 3 is 10, so 10 years. So a cat, if it lives to be 15, sleeps 10 years. The male Cuban tree frog is about 2/5 the size of the female Cuban tree frog. The average size of the female Cuban tree frog is shown below. What is the size of the male Cuban tree frog? And there's a typo there. Okay, so we're going to take 2/5 and multiply it by 6 and put it over 1. 2 times 6 is 12. 5 times 1 is 5. And as a mixed number, 5 goes into 12 twice, with 2 left over. And we are talking about the size of the male Cuban tree frog. So we are talking inches, and I got that from this diagram here. So 2 2/5 inches. One evening, 2/3 of Mrs. Thorne's students watched a reality television show. Of Mrs. Lombardo's students, 4/5 watched the same show. Which teacher had more students that watched the reality show? Explain. Well, let's look at Mrs. Thorne's class first. She has 36 students. So 2/3 times 36 over 1. 2 times 36 is 72, and 3 times 1 is 3. Let's divide this out. 3 into 72. 3 goes into 7 twice, which is 6. Subtract and get 1. Bring down the 2. 3 goes into 12 4 times. Subtract and get 0. So this is 24 students for Mrs. Thorne. Now Mrs. Lombardo, 4/5 watched the same show, and she has 30 students. So 4/5 times 30 over 1. 4 times 30 is 120. 5 times 1 is 5. And let's do 120 divided by 5. 5 goes into 12 twice, which is 10. Subtract and get 2. 5 goes into 20 4 times. Subtract and get 0. So we also get 24. So which teacher had more students that watched the reality show? Well, they both had 24 students, so the answer would be neither. And it says to explain. Neither because they both had 24 students watch the show. So right here is your answer.